Hey, what up, YouTube? This is All City Live TV. If you're new to the channel, please be sure to click on that subscribe button. Let's get it.
Easy go.
What up, YouTube? You already know it's All City Live TV. Thank you for tuning in. And today we're going to be going over some NBA 2K18 gameplay news recently released by Mike Wang on OperationSports.com. So I'm happy to hear that they really addressed some of the most frustrating issues in NBA 2K17, and hopefully that'll carry over to 2K18. So one of the first things that Mike Wang addressed was the feel of the game. You know, from NBA 2K to NBA 2K17, you know, is really animation driven. You know, the motion system was heavily animation driven, and this means that you would have, let's say, a 55 overall come out to the park after he watched some cancerous Hank the Tank videos and just trigger these animations and blow past defenders with high defensive attributes. So, you know, I'm happy to hear that they're really putting some focus on the motion system. We're going to scroll down here because I'm pretty sure Mike Wang, you know, he put some details in here about the new motion system. It says some of our top engineers spent the entire dev cycle working on a new motion engine, and it turned out to be a huge game changer. What I want to focus on here is, to put it simply, movement is no longer driven by animations in NBA 2K18. It says, now the stick input and player attributes are the sole components driving how your character moves around the court. So I'm happy to hear that, guys. You know, you're no longer going to have these rookies come on the court. And I don't mean brown shirts. I mean rookie, low basketball IQ type of players who come out on the court, span the stick, and take horrible, you know, shots out there. But because they trigger these particular animations, they're able to make these insanely contested shots. So I'm happy to hear that they've really put some focus in that, and hopefully that widen the skill gap, because, you know, you have some veterans from the 2K series such as myself who've been playing the 2K series from its inception when it was released on Dreamcast. I remember the first day that I got it. I remember the first day playing it very clearly. So to see that they're bringing it back to this, you know, core fundamental mechanic type of gameplay, you know, I'm, as a veteran, I'm really happy to hear about that. So let's get back to it. Also says here, before I move on, I want to make sure that I touch base on this. It says the new movement system will give us the ability to control exactly how quickly a given player can accelerate, decelerate, cut, and turn, as well as his speeds for different states such as walking, running, shuffling, sprinting, etc. And this is all simply based on his attributes. So it looks like we're going to be, you know, grinding in my career to really build up our attributes, and, you know, hopefully this will be relative to your park gameplay. I'm a park player, so, you know, I want it to feel responsive. If I invest my time in my career to develop my players' attributes, then I want that to carry over into my park gameplay. Just like in real life, you know, when I was younger, I would always have a basketball in my hand. I was the first one out in the morning, the last one to get home at night. I'd always be on the court, always dribbling the ball, always practicing my form, always practicing my shot. So I want that in our 2K18 gameplay. I want that to carry over. If I invest my time into developing my player and my player attributes, then I want that to carry over into my park gameplay, and I want to be able to compete at a higher level because I developed the attributes for my player. So I'm happy to hear about that. It says nothing is canned. Let me highlight that. Nothing is canned and nothing predetermined. Everything is done on the fly. And it says the results are night and day, and something you'll notice as soon as you pick up the sticks this year. So again, hopefully this you know, this widens the skill gap between, you know, real pro players out there and, you know, people who are just getting on the game. I remember in 2K16 when I attempted to bring my low rated rookie player to the park, and I got on the court. I felt the difference immediately. I knew that I was not ready to play against these highly competitive park players because my players' attributes were not developed yet. So I remember taking my player back to my career, developing his attributes, and then bringing him back after I got my 99 overall, then bringing my player to the park to compete. So hopefully that's the case in 2K18. It says if we had to pick one word to describe what we wanted to achieve from a high level with gameplay this year, it would be the feel. All right, so that's good to hear. They're really focusing on the feel and the responsiveness of the gameplay. Let's see, with shooting, for example, last year we introduced a shot aiming and put a heavy emphasis on shot timing, deciding makes and misses. It says the unfortunate side effects to some of these changes were that it became very difficult for us to balance the stick skill gap between new users and pro gamers, as well as across the various archetypes. So I think everyone really felt the effects of what Mike Wang is expressing here, from playmakers shooting deep threes because they triggered the step back animation and allowed them to get a green release, like Mike Wang expressed here. So in many ways it ended up devaluing player attributes, defensive impact, and all the other factors that go into shot success. So hopefully we'll see that difference in 2K18. It says they looked at the pros and cons of shooting of the NBA 2K17 shooting system compared to how we done things in the past and married the best ideas together to create a new system for 2K18. So it looks like in 2K18 we are really going to be seeing a huge difference from shooting to dribbling the ball. It says this year I think we've struck a great balance between the importance of stick skills and basketball IQ. Now more than ever, it's important to take high percentage shots with the right type of players while also mastering your player's release. They said that was going to be the case for 2K17. It definitely wasn't. So hopefully they'll be able to stick to their word in 2K18. It says that we removed the shot aiming, implemented a new shot meter positioned vertically near your player's upper body to improve visibility, and added improved shot feedback information that shows your release timing and your coverage of your shot. So it'll tell you whether it's smothered, heavily contested, lightly contested, open, or wide open. I think everybody will be happy to see that feedback come into effect. Hopefully that is relative to park gameplay as well. It says green releases are still in the game but aren't solely based on release timing. Without going into detail on how everything works under the hood, I'll just say that the design for excellent releases is much smarter than before and can say with confidence that green hunting won't be a problem. So we know there's going to be green releases, but I think what's going to affect your release is like Mike Wang expressed, is whether your shot is going to be contested, smothered, or lightly contested, open, wide open. So I imagine if you're wide open, you have a greater chance of achieving a green release. So that's really good to hear. Also, before I scroll down, I would like to touch base on the shot meter customization. So you can change the color of your shot meter to white, a team color, black, gray, red, cyan, yellow, blue, or magenta. And that's great to hear. It says, as some of you requested, you can also access the jump shot creator for NBA players this year for a more customization over the league. So that's good. A few more. Let's see here. We got feedback from the community gameplay dev session. Load ups. Definitely load ups were extremely frustrating. You want to go into a catch and shoot animation. You want to get your jumper off quick, but you're stuck in a load up. And while you're loading up for that, couple of milliseconds or, a second, of course, the defense closes out on you and you no longer have an open shot. So I'm glad to hear that they addressed the load up situation. It says they also augmented the pull-up jumper. So it says this year you hold sprint and move the pro stick in the same direction of your movement when driving laterally. You'll get these really nice explosive hop jumpers. So long live the shot creator. I'm a shot creator myself, so hopefully, I'll be able to, I really suffered in 2K17, or I'm really suffering, I should say. It's nice to hear that they're really putting some focus into the shot creator. It says holding the opposite direction of your drive will trigger these cool snatchback jumpers. So it looks like we're gonna have some new snatchback jumpers introduced in 2K18. It says you can also do both of these by tapping the shot button or holding your left stick in the proper direction. And one of the main things in 2K18 that I'm excited about is the new layup packages. They're gonna introduce these new layup packages, and the first one on the list is called Circus, and it's a Kyrie Irving type of jelly layup package. So I know that the 2K Park players are gonna be out there heavy on these jelly layup packages because they really, enjoyed doing these jelly layups in 2K17. So now 2K said we'll offer you guys a jelly layup package. So that's really nice to hear. They're also gonna have the next one on the list is called Crafty, and it's a Steph Curry scoop layup, around the back finish type of layup package. They also have the Euro Specialist. It says the perfect package for Dwayne Wade. When I think of Euro Specialists, I think of James Harden, but they got Dwayne Wade on here. They also have an explosive layup package. This is designed for long jumpers who can explode off of a launch pad like Russell Westbrook. Another layup package that the 2K community is gonna really enjoy. I know a lot of people will be adding that Russell Westbrook type of layup package onto their players. They also have on the list a floater specialist. I haven't seen many people take advantage of the floaters in 2K17, and I think that's because of the shot meter on layups. It just was really a turn off. Although I have seen some really nice park players out there that took advantage of using the floaters. Although they were far and few in between, the ones that did really set themselves apart with that teardrop type of floater that they had in 2K17. So it looks like in 2K18 they have a package for floaters, and this says lots of nice quick teardrops a la Tony Parker or D Rose. They also have the long athlete, great for long swings like the Greek Freak. They also have the tank, and you don't need to really think about who's the tank in in the NBA. It's a LeBron type of strong athletic finisher out there, layup package. And it also has the unathletic small. Don't want to name names, but we all know the kinds of guys that deserve this package, the unathletic small. Okay, then of course the traditional default small swings and big packages. So it's nice to hear that they put some focus into these layup packages. Layups really suffered in 2K17. I remember towards the end of 2K16, we really kind of stepped away. We had to pick and choose between dunking the ball and laying the ball up, and there was an extreme difference. There was a skill gap there for players who had a strong basketball IQ. They would oftentimes lay the ball in, as opposed to having the defense come from way behind you and block your dunk. People with high basketball IQ would go trigger the layup animation. In 2K17, that was, when I say demolished, it was almost like nobody lays the ball in 2K17. And I'm glad to hear that they're adding these layup packages. And from what I hear, we're no longer going to have a shot meter on our layup packages. The triple threat jabs and fakes are all new this year. You can chain jabs together for those Carmelo Anthony drives setups. Oh, I'm happy to hear about that, man. I've never been a player to add the triple threat jab, so I would love to implement this into my playing style, and I'm looking forward to seeing what I can do with this new implementation in 2K18. Bigs get their own set of moves that are great for blowing by defenders at the high post or setting up those power drives. Nice, man. Hopefully with this triple threat type of jab for the bigs, it'll eliminate some of the spammers out there, because I've always felt, I've had a glass cleaner in 2K17, and I've always felt that they shouldn't be allowed to strip the ball so easily. If you got a small man on you, the big man should be able to hold the ball with both hands, elbows out, keeping the defender away simply from his positioning. He's big for a reason. He shouldn't be as easily stripped if he knows how to play the game. So if I set myself in a position for a triple jab, protecting the ball, I should be able to dribble or set up a post move to get to the hole. They're big. They're not only big, they're strong. They have bigger hands and a better grip on that ball. They shouldn't be so easily stripped. So I'm happy to hear. Hopefully, I'll be able to make a big man in 2K18, because 2K17 they killed the big man. So I'm glad to hear that they put some focus on that. It says, we focused a lot on making weight and strength matter in the post as well. It says, when you have DeMarcus Cousins mismatched with a small, you'll see him clearly push his way through on the back down for an easy dunk. And this will force good gameplay. If we're in the park and you set your team up to have three smalls running up against, let's say a playmaker, a sharpshooter, and a post scorer. If that post scorer is able to get that ball in the hole against a small player, it should be a gimme 2 points. Period. Point blank. Period. If it's a mismatch, that post scorer, exactly like Mike Wang expressed here, should be able to score the ball in the post. He should not be easily stripped, and hopefully that is the case in 2K18, just as Mike Wang expressed here. Hopefully we see that difference. It says shot fakes have been reworked and are cooler than ever. You can chain multiple fakes together to pull off Hakeem Olajuwon patented up and unders, Kobe's legendary step-through shots, and much more. Okay, guys, man, they got a lot of cool stuff here, guys. On the ball handling front, we added the ability to do triple threat dribble and post moves by tapping or double tapping the post-up button. I know the pro stick can be a little daunting for newcomers, so I think this feature will help them pull off some nice moves without worrying about getting accidental shots. But for you dribble guards out there, read on. The signature size-up combos that you know and love make their return, but we've also brought back the more explosive rhythm dribble sequences, including a number of street ones that we had a couple of years back, including dozens of new animations for many of the top ball handlers in the league. Simply tap the right stick toward the hoop and you see some really sick dribble combos and tons of new content. I don't necessarily know if I like the sound of this. It says simply tap the right stick toward the hoop and you'll see some really sick dribble combos. That doesn't make much sense to me. You're telling me from the beginning of the article, now I could be wrong, guys, tell me if I'm wrong in the comment section, but from the beginning of the article they made it seem as if you had complete control of your player and you were the one who told your player what was going to happen. It said in the beginning of the article that canned animations are no longer in the game. And now as we get to the middle of the article, it says simply tap the right stick toward the hoop and you'll see some really sick dribble combos. How does that I don't know, guys. I think that's going to be a con in 2K18, but we'll have to see. Just remember that I'm the one who called this early, right before 2K18's release, that Mike Wang said there was no canned animations and you're going to have way more control over your player. And then in the middle of this same article, he puts simply tap the right stick toward the hoop and you'll see some really sick dribble combos. How is that the case in 2K17? You had to really tap the stick in one direction or the other a few times to create these dribble combos. And now you're going to tell us that in 2K18, you just got to press the right stick toward the hoop and you'll see a dribble combo? I don't know about that. It says it's extremely gratifying being able to chain together the rhythm dribbles with the pro stick flick combo moves to create Kyrie Irving style mixtape. Okay, I'll just sit on that one and wait till the release and see what we get. We've also added the ability to do walking size up and combos. It may sound like a small addition, but it's one of my favorite things to do as a ball handler this year. Okay, so they're gonna have some new walk up size up, so that's pretty cool. There's easily the deepest. It says this is you can now do double crosses, cross to wraps, cross to tweens, hezzy crosses, and much more while creeping up in 2K18. Okay, this is easily the deepest ball handling has ever been in any game. But the best thing about it is seeing the community invent all sorts of combos I didn't even know were possible. Okay. So it looks like there's gonna be space for dribble gods out there. I'm happy to see that, as long as, as a defender with a high defensive rating, I can keep up with the dribble gods out there. I don't mind people dribbling at all. If they have a high IQ and they're able to hit the moves and pass, or really create a play out there, then I welcome all dribble gods, man. Just let me compete with the dribble gods. Let my player respond on defense just as well as that player's dribble is responding to his spamming on the stick. So they've got a short pass and a long pass with a simple tap or hold of the pass button. Okay, so that's good to know. A tap of the pass button will be for a short pass. A hold for the pass button will be for a long pass. On the defensive end of the floor, there were a ton of improvements as well. The biggest thing for a lot of our users was the dribble drive game. This is something we spent a lot of time on, and it's come a long way since last year. Many complained about stonewalling defenders that were able to clamp down ball handlers regardless of their ratings, and somewhat unrealistically stifle the dribble drive game. The interactions and logic for ball handler on ball defender collisions were reworked, and it feels much better. In NBA 2K18, if the ball handler can get a step on his man, or is a Westbrook or LeBron coming downhill, prepare to see a blow by for a clear drive to the hoop. So it looks like slashers, if I'm reading this correctly, it looks like slashers have a big place in NBA 2K18. So from what I've read so far, they're really revamping the idea for 2K18. So all those who suffered in 2K17 are probably going to have some life in 2K18. So from what I've read so far, it looks like big men are getting some life. Slashers are going to be living again in 2K18, and shot creators got a new look for 2K18. So I'm happy to hear about this. It leads to more in the hole type of gameplay, pause, but it leads us to some good gameplay. Some of the gameplay that I remember in 2K16 before patches, and even 2K17 before patches. It says it feels really good now to get your defender leaning one way, attacking his drag foot, and seeing your ball handler quickly swim by the defender without getting snatched into a heavy bump animation. It says also to address the defense on that, because that was reading that was a little concerning for defenders. It says sure, the Kyrie Leonards of the league can still clamp down slower ball handlers, but for the most part you'll see a lot of hip riding this year compared to knockbacks and dribbler stuns from the past. Okay, that's good to hear. So hip riding, I think, is okay as long as the ball handler can continue to make his way to the basket, and as a defender you can compete on the layup or a dunk attempt. If you find yourself matched up with the extra pesky hard-nosed defender, I recommend pulling off step back moves from the rides. Ooh, that's gonna be nice addition to 2K18, where if you're stuck in an animation where he's riding your hip, you can step back from that ride. It says they're extremely deadly this year. The whole revamp of the one-on-one chess match really opens up the floor game and makes going to the basket with a playmaker much more realistic than ever. That's good to hear. Steals and blocks also saw significant improvements. For steals, we heard the complaints about steal spamming. Yes, Mike Wang, you did it, Mike. That should have never been in the game. Steal spamming. You go to the park now, everyone plays defense with the box button. No longer are people holding L2 or attempting to stay in front of their opponent. That little green bar that comes up by your foot, suggesting that you're having good defense is not even relevant. So I don't even know why it was implemented in 2K17, because you have good defense where that bar is green and it's telling you you're playing good defense. You don't get rewarded for it. You get rewarded for spamming that box button, or spamming your stick on defense. It makes no sense, and I'm glad they addressed it. It says, we heard complaints about steal spamming last year and are happy to say that will no longer be the case for 2K18. The logic for ball vulnerability is much better this year, rewarding you for reaching at the right times while punishing you with reaching fouls when you... Oh, no. No, Mike. That's not what we want. That you do that already. I understand. It's one of there's one of the frustrating things to me. We're on a fast break, and you think punishing the defender in the park with a foul is gonna hurt them? That doesn't hurt the defense giving them a foul. That hurts our fast break on offense. You stop the whole gameplay. The punishment should be if they reach. If they reach at the wrong time, then you blow past them and score 2 points. Or you're able to split the defense from, 3-on-3 to a 3-on-2 because they reached at the wrong time. So, I don't think that's going to work out well. You guys let me know in the comment section, but I think that's going to be a little bit of a failure, or I should say something that they're going to have to continue to work on. That's what I should say. Reaching fouls do not help the offense. In critical situations, they may in a pro-am game. I'm addressing the fact that I am a park player. So I wanted them to more so penalize the defense for reaching at inopportune moments by allowing the offense to capitalize a reach that was done at the wrong time. So hopefully, that's something that they'll catch before release, or they'll develop in a patch. Okay, so they're really forcing you to use the right stick this year on defense. It says, in 2K17, if you had the Intense D automatic closeout, that the computer will basically play defense for you. So in 2K18, they're really taking that out the game. It says you'll have to be more proactive on defense and use the right stick if you want to actively contest shots. So I think they're really preparing for the E-League. It seems like they're really focusing on these core fundamentals, which I think veterans could appreciate this year. All right, guys, I hope this was helpful. I tried to provide as much information as I can and my thoughts on what I took away from this article. If you guys enjoyed this video, please be sure to click that subscribe button. You can like and share the video. That'd be a huge help. And stay tuned for more 2K news. The second that I receive updates on 2K news from Mike Wang or Ronnie, whatever it is, or whoever it is, I'll be updating you guys. We're really trying to get it in 2K18, so be sure to click on those notifications and stay tuned with your boy. All right, y'all. Peace and love. Easy 100.
Easy go.